My guest at this time is a WWE veteran whose new single, Born With It, is now available to stream. It's Ariane Andrew. Ariane, thank you very much for taking some more time to chat with me today.
Thank you, Nick. What is pussy poppin'?
Wow, I'm blushing within 5 seconds of this interview. This interview is popping. I'll politely say that. Is that okay? I feel
Yeah,
weird.
yeah, I know. It's definitely something that it catches people off guard. Like, wait, what? It's just my way of saying like, what's going on? What's happening?
I think if I walked in and said that to my girlfriend, I might get slapped. I don't really know. I don't know that I can say that. So
I mean, it's one of those type of things. Exactly. It catches you off guard, and you're like, oh, wait, what? And that's the whole thing. Instead of just saying hi, that's so boring. Being boring is I mean, being basic is boring to me. You know, I'm a very eclectic person.
hey, yeah, you do a lot of things. I saw the TikTok videos, and we'll get to everything else here in just a second. But let's get with it. You got this new single here, "Born with It." It bangs. It's a banger. What should people know about this song?
So, you know, I did music before back in WWE, and that was just to kind of separate myself from Naomi Trinity. You
Okay.
know, people used to be like, okay, it's the Funkadactyls. It's like they kind of clumped us as one person. I'm like, no, we're not twins. We're not sisters. We're very individual. So that was like my way initially of kind of separating myself. At the time, no woman had ever had their voice on on their entrance. And, you know, it wasn't good. Like, I can be honest, the music was shit. You know what I mean? Like, I know stuff that's good, I know what's shit. And I've always had a passion for music. I have many passions, and I used to take vocal lessons, but I knew that I just wasn't good. You know what I mean? Like, I recognize you're not good. But, you know, as time progressed and thinking about the music I did, I was like, you know what? Nowadays, like, music really is about personality, and it's kind of shifted. And I'm like, I feel like at this moment where we're at in time, that I can be a force to reckon with doing music, because kind of how music has changed. And I mean, really, I mean, it's, even though lyrically it's not like super deep, it is my sassy way of telling people you are your own superpower. No one can do you like you. And at the end of the day, everything you've ever wanted in life, you were born with it.
Yeah, I mean it is. It's a dance club song. You
Yeah.
you listen to it. You want to bop around the living room, or dance floor, wherever you may be. I mean, I don't need to overthink it. Miley Cyrus, born in the USA. Where's the depth there, right? So we're not born in the.
I mean, there is some death, because it's saying like, it's talking about haters, it's talking about life, it's talking about just like I was born with it. Like, I'm that bitch.
Yeah.
Pretty much. And it's, you know, in a very confident way. I feel like everyone needs to have a confidence no matter where you stand in life, to say like you are born with whatever it is that you want to pursue in life.
So who did you work with on this? So what's your team look like when you're putting together this kind of song?
So I worked with one of my good friends. He's a producer, he's a writer, he's an artist. His name is Dave Allen. And I actually recorded this song in Damon Sharp Studios. So for people who don't know who Damon Sharp is, he's a Grammy nominated producer. He's worked with J Lo, Ariana Grande, really big names. And I'm going to go ahead and spill some tea. I'm actually working with him on a remix. I won't say the style of the music it is. It's completely different than hip hop rap, but I'm working with him right now for with a remix.
That's awesome. So internally, yeah, what vibe are you getting from the team? So it looks like there's gonna be more moves from you. You're gonna continue on in the music industry, then, yes?
Oh yeah, for sure. I don't want to just come out with one song. You know, I mean, I definitely have my hands into so many things. I have so many different passions, but you know, it's just kind of like I'll sleep when I die, and you know, it's just kind of like having fun. And so far, the response has been really, really good. Like, people are really loving it. They're like, "Damn, they weren't expecting that." Considering the music I had before, and then coming out with this, they're like, "Whoa, shit!" Like, who was that? So it's exciting to see the response.
And so you got some cool news we're gonna drop here, I guess, in this interview. There's more going on with this song. You're coming out with this like 3D animation video to go along with it. Tell me about this. What's going on here?
So, you know, I mean, at the end of the day, like, even though I'm not in the ring now, not saying that who knows what could happen in the future, you know, a lot of, to still kind of give fans like a little bit of kind of the world I used to be in. I know a lot of, you know, wrestling fans, or a lot of or gamers as well. And for me, you know, everyone's kind of already doing like the typical, you know, music video, I was like, you know what? I'm going to take this music video and do something completely different and do a 3D animation. So it's going to look like a video game.
That's okay. So it's gonna be a video game. I was wondering what style it was gonna be in, because
Yeah, it's going to look like a video game.
oh, that's so. Where did the idea for this come from? Like, what was the inspiration? I guess.
No, not to dive super deep, but I'm like a very like spiritual person, very intuitive. And I actually was just reading this book, How to Be Your Own Psychic, and like, tapping in. And as I was reading it, it was like ideas and stuff will come to you, like ways to visualize of what it is that you're trying to move forward with. And as I literally was reading that book, it popped in my head. It's the coincidence of it all, of like reading this book and then getting this idea.
Man, that's great. And so, like, it's cool to hear you talk about having this freedom and kind of acting on those impulses and those ideas, because one of the things that, has been a real buzzy topic here coming out of 2020 was just like when you're in that WWE bubble, you don't get to really kind of do this stuff, right? There's a lot of control put on you. How different is it right now being able to have this freedom as opposed to when you were in that WWE bubble? Do you wish you could have been able to do more stuff like this when you were on the roster?
I mean, I kind of was a rebel in a sense. Like, I was doing things that, technically speaking, you shouldn't be doing. And, I understand. I mean, when you're in that world, I mean, there's no other job. Like, usually in other fields, you can go out and venture and do other things. So I always looked at it as like, well, as long as I'm not doing anything to make WWE's name look horrible, it's just bringing more publicity to WWE and getting it more mainstream. It's a catch 22, because yeah, do I miss WWE? Do I miss my sister from another Mr. Trent? Yeah, I miss those things, but it's also great to be able to be my own person. And I think a lot of people didn't really get to know who Ariane is. They were so into Cameron. Cameron is like the alter ego of who I am, because I'm actually a really down to earth, chill person. And it's kind of nice for me now for people to see who I am, instead of just taking who Cameron was and running away with it and being like, oh, she's so fucking annoying, she's this. And again, like, even my personality now may not be for everybody, you know what I mean? But it's great to be able to be me and show these sides of like, I meditate, I journal, like I'm a very like spiritual well-being, and this is Ariane and that is Cameron. That is a character. That is like a turned up, version of me.
Yeah, absolutely. And you caught my attention there when you said you were a rebel. You did things that others. Do you want to open up a little bit about that? Or like, did you ever get in trouble for doing outside things where they sat you down and were like, "Hey, we would prefer you not do this right now"?
No, but you know how everything goes. Like, everyone talks. People, people they're writing stuff down. I mean, I was doing red carpets before you could do that. I was doing sponsored deals. When Instagram first got on, I was doing like a sponsorship deal for this alcohol company that I never told them about, and everyone was talking about it. And it's like, you weren't supposed to do those type of things, but at the end of the day, I was like, well, I'm very grateful for the opportunity, but still, it's like when you're on the road and you're paying for so many things, you're like, woo, okay, what I'm paying for and what I'm getting, it's kind of like, okay, well, I need to make a little bit more extra money. And I'm not doing anything bad. If anything, I'm just putting more publicity. So it's just like before Fashion Nova was a thing, like I was wearing Fashion Nova and doing sponsor stuff with Fashion Nova. And that was years ago. And now Fashion Nova is like huge.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm always like that person who was kind of like pushing the boundaries, but not in a bad way. It's just like, I have to look out for myself. They could fire me anytime and be like, bye. You know what I mean? So it's like, okay, well, what does that mean once, I'm done with my contract? You have to kind of look out for yourself. And I feel like as long as you're doing it in a way where you're not fucking someone over or hurting someone, there's really like, no harm, no foul.
And like, I don't think a lot of fans understand. Like, you say that how much money you guys are spending on the road, because as independent contractors, like a big chunk of it goes to taxes, right? Immediately. And like, how much of what you were doing day to day on the road were you having to take care of for yourself?
I mean, again, like I said, for the opportunity and for the age I was at, I thought, I was making great money. But yeah, you think about, you're getting costumes, you're paying for your rental car, you're paying for your hotel, you're paying for these things, and it's kind of like it gets pricey. And because I'm the most extroverted, introverted person, once John came on the road with Trent, I used to kind of like to ride by myself. Most people like to ride together. I'm like, okay, I want this moment to just kind of like decompress. You know, we spend so much time with each other. We've gone 300 days out the year. Like, I just need this time for me. By the way, I don't know what's going on over there. I don't know if you hear that.
I assumed there was somebody trying to break down the wall with a jackhammer or something.
I'm like, whoa, okay. I don't know if it's been going on since like 7 this morning. So, hey, this is the life of doing Zoom interviews from home. I figure I'm like, I'm not gonna ignore it. Like, it's there. So, hey guys, hopefully you can just bypass that loud ass noise.
Yeah, no, that's fine. It's unless you had pointed out. I mean, I was kind of thinking about it. I was like worried structurally for wherever you were, but I wasn't. I wasn't concerned.
No, there's always a lot going on in LA. There's just a lot all the time. LA is always lit with craziness happening.
So I went and I looked at your social media before we did the interview just to kind of see what you were up to. Man, you're doing a lot of TikTok stuff right now. So I take that's a medium that you've really kind of gravitated towards. I saw several videos in there. Yeah.
So, you know, I mean, it's more of a younger thing. Like, I'm an open book. I'm 33 years young. But I do feel like with me tapping into music, that TikTok is a huge connection with TikTok and music. And with me also having, like, I have my challenge, the Born with the Challenge. And I feel like it's a creative way for me to create content with showing kind of like read books, live your best life. Like, you can do all these things. Like the TikTok I just did, the Busted Challenge. It's where you're looking busted, if people don't know, or looking like whatever, and then you bust it down and then you're like twerking. So I like busted down and I'm holding Think Like a Monk by Jay Shetty as I'm twerking, being like, while y'all busting it open, also bust open a book and get some knowledge, okay?
Well, one of the things. So I went to my team and I asked, who's got questions for Ion. One of the things they wanted to ask that tied into the TikTok dancing. You infamously danced backstage with Vince McMahon alongside Naomi. What was that like?
But like, I'm so sorry. Like, it's construction, so
Don't worry about it.
it's like,
I'm
please shut the fuck up. Oh my God. It's like drilling in my head. It's like, gosh, it's so loud.
I mean, if you go nutso and you knock out a construction worker during this interview, we're probably going to go viral. So,
No, I'm definitely not going to do that. And I mean, it's 12 o'clock here, so I can't really, it's construction. It's like I said, it's LA. But going back to what you were just saying, with Vince McMahon, you said, what was that like?
Yeah, because I went and watched the video back and you really got down there for a little bit there with Vince and Naomi. How was that having to dance and work with that spot with Vince there?
Initially, I was so nervous because that was like the beginning of, that was like the beginning of the Funkadactyls with Brodus. And I remember them saying, like, this is also going to go live. So I'm thinking, like, I'm with the boss. I had never really had engaged with him. So I'm thinking, like, bitch, don't you fuck this up, because this could be the moment where he's like, okay, no, girl, you're done. So I was just thinking, like, okay, don't fuck this up. Don't fuck this up. We're live and we're with fucking Vince. Girl, you better get it together. And I don't come from a dance background. So all of this is like in my head, whatever. It's just like, woo, fake it till you make it.
Was he cool? Was he cool to work with there? And that
Yeah, he was super cool. I had a few encounters with Vince. He's like that busy guy, and it's always very nerve-wracking. Like, I don't know why. Like, I don't get very nervous, but being around him, I don't know, he's like something about like the energy that he exudes. It's like it makes you nervous. Like, okay, like, am I gonna say the wrong thing, or if I'm coming off the right way? No, but he was really cool.
Yeah. Did you ever work with Steph? Did you work much with Steph or no?
Oh yeah. Steph is like super, super chill. I've worked with her numerous times. Yeah. And like, I never got nervous around Steph.
Okay. So very different working with McMahon, right?
Yeah. It's just, I mean, like, it's Vince, you know what I mean? So it's like one of those type, and it's like his personality and how he talks, it's like, yeah. So it's kind of like, I don't know, just different vibes.
Well, your former Funkadactyl partner Naomi, she returned at the Rumble. I don't know if you caught her return there. I don't know if you get any thoughts.
I did. I actually was just. We've been talking a lot lately. I actually was just. We were just talking like right before this interview. Now we were talking about. I was like, "Bitch, welcome back," and all this stuff, and we were just chatting about her being back. And yeah, I really hope to see her like really make some moves before she's before she steps out of the ring.
Yeah. What do you think? Like in the future, just like transition to something else, motherhood, something like that. I don't know.
I mean, yeah, this is the thing. Like, I'm a little bit older than her, which is so funny because it's like I would always think of her as like Mama Bear. I'm a little bit older than her, and like as you get older, it's like trying to have kids, it gets even harder. You know what I mean? And I
Yeah.
mean, I know that like she has such a love for being in the ring that it can get so easy that you just end up staying forever. But I definitely know for sure she's still got some time. But I know eventually at some point, just like I mean, I'm sure every girl there, they eventually want to move on and start to have a family.
What do you think about her and Lana? That kind of caught me off guard. They got paired up together.
It's very different. Um, it's I mean, I guess I really don't have much to say. It's different, you know what I mean?
For sure.
Yeah.
What about you? What's on the horizon for you wrestling wise? I mean, we last kind of saw you in AEW, and then it hasn't been anything since.
You know what I say is whatever is meant for you, it's already yours, and what's not meant to be, it was never meant to happen. And the thing is, like, I am totally open. I mean, I still have a love for being in the ring. I still feel like I have so much to prove that I didn't get a chance to show off, and I would love to have that opportunity. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again, like manifestation. I'm huge about that. Putting that out into the universe. I would love, even if it was a small run, to come back, reteam with Naomi and make history and get the tag team titles and be the first African American, first Black woman to ever have the titles. I didn't just recently, someone had mentioned, they're like, oh, did you realize you had already made history? You two are the first Black tag team. And I was like, really? I never had thought about that. But it would be great to come back and, shake things up a little bit. I feel like we made a great team. And I mean, I felt like we were a real tag team, not just, some stuff thrown together and being like, okay, we're just gonna make these two people tag team partners, not really build a story. Here's the titles. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We have history.
Yeah, and you did make some buzz here in the past couple months. I mean, we saw Jillian Hall, and I think Victoria was back. I mean, was there ever any talk of you maybe showing up in the Rumble or anything like that, or coming back and make an appearance?
Mm-mm. Nope. Nope. And even if there was, do you think I would tell you?
I don't know. It's just my job to ask these questions, Ariane. So
I know. I mean, and that's the whole part of being an interview. But stuff like that, I'm never going to spill the tea. So even if I was making my return next week, you wouldn't know.
I was looking back at like the many things you've done as well. I actually watch Total Divas and Total Bellas all the time, and I totally blanked that you were like early on Total Divas. Like,
Yeah.
what was that like? Did you know it was going to become this big thing? Like that was a big at the time. I remember when it launched, it was so different because WWE really wasn't doing a lot of kind of behind the scenes curtain type stuff when that show launched.
I mean, it definitely was nerve wracking. You know what I mean? 'Cause it's like you're opening up your life for people to see. And then it's like, again, too, it's like, okay, well, I still have to kind of be Cameron. I thought that was going to be like my chance to be myself.
Yeah.
And they were pretty much like, no, bitch. Like, that's, they didn't say it. No, that's just my way of delivering it. They didn't. Okay, like if you get to know how I talk, that's just how I talk. That's not saying like they said that. But it was definitely, I felt grateful, and I felt very like, wow, Vince had hand chose the original cast. So for him,
really,
yeah,
know that. Oh.
Yeah, he was the one who had hand chose everyone to initially be a part of Total Divas. So for me to be picked to start the season, that was like, wow, like that was pretty dope. It was pretty like, wow, that was like a wow moment. Very stressful, very different. But again, it's like these are the type of things in life that shape you, and things that I can look back and say, wow, at the time you're moving so quick, so you don't appreciate it. And I can look back now and be like, wow, that was such a cool moment to be able to be a part of that.
Wow. I mean, who knows what women want more than Vince McMahon, I guess. That's so bizarre to me. I thought that there would be reality show producers that picked you guys.
I mean, that has a lot to play with it, but at the end of the day, Vince is Vince. He still makes the decisions. You know what I mean? So, I mean, he's the one who, I know as far as as the season continued, do I know, how that went? No. I mean, that's just what I was told.
Wow. Cool little anecdote. All right. Well, I'll let you go back to fighting construction.
Of course, like it had been stopped for hours.
The Clover
Like
monster on the other side of your wall. You know.
it's great. No, it's crazy just because it's I don't know how it's coming in so loud, but like just construction, I feel like in general, it's one of those type of things that's always gonna be loud, especially because it's like right here. I'm like, okay, building, great, build right. They're building over here, so
Yeah, you know, we I thought this was fun, even still. So
yeah. I just feel bad for the audio people. I hope people don't like tune out just because they're like, oh my god, that's so annoying.
I think we owned it. You know, you did the right thing. You called it out, and like if something's going wrong, you got to call it out, or people are just going to sit there scratching their heads. You know.
Yeah, it's like no, something you gotta acknowledge. Shit happens, and that's life. You shit happens, you keep it pushing. Like, hey, this happened. All right, let's go.
Well, with that, where can people go find Born with It? Where do you want to send them right now?
So everyone can go stream it on all streaming platforms. So that's Apple Music, Deezer, Spotify, any streaming platform, you can go find it. Stay tuned for the remix of Damon Sharp. More music is to come. My producer actually just sent me a beat today, so working on the second song, the music video, the lyric video, and of course everything else that I do, which you can go find all that on my Instagram at Ariane Andrew because I do a lot of things. I'm a queen of all trades.